pork on. It's not beat the first man. So we've got to get this cleared. Crooks is trying to get away with it. It will get away with it to an extent, but it's a waste of this.
It's not a waste of ball. That's a great pass. Come on then, Freddie.
Freddie's on one-on-one. Can Freddie turn and shoot? Can Freddie get a shot? Yes! Unbelievable!
Oh yeah! What a goal!
Unbelievable! Freddie! Apologies to the neighbours. Hello and welcome to the Rotherham United podcast. We have another postponement to talk about. As Ito Karankas mentions, I think it's our 10th postponement of the season. We'll talk more about his comments later on, I suppose. We've kept the same intro. We're going to keep the same intro for this episode as we have done for the last episode because nothing's happened since Wednesday. So I hope you enjoyed that. And nothing's happened in the past few days for Rotherham United, so we're going to, try and cover the same amount of time, but we'll try and cover it with Rotherham United stuff. Ben's with us. Ben will be with us for the full episode. For any Ben fans out there, this is going to be a good episode for you. And Mick's obviously here as well. Hello, Mick.
Hello.
Should we start with the postponement first? There's no one else to start. Well, other stuff I suppose. But so on Friday lunchtime, there were rumours coming through from the Brentford end that there would be a postponement. I even got a message from one of their podcasts. They'd had some insider knowledge. And an hour or so later, it got confirmed. It's by the sounds of it, there's at least 7 cases in the Rotherham camp, 4 or 5 players and a couple of staff as well. And obviously the game got postponed rightly so. And then they've also cancelled the Luton game, obviously. So there'll be no game Tuesday night as there was scheduled to be. It's a bit of a shame, Mick, but at the same time, the 3-day gap between Wednesday to Saturday, we don't like that anyway, do we?
We don't, no, but we're going to have to put up with it sooner or later, aren't we? We're probably going to end up playing 3 games in a week at some stage. At some stage of season, aren't we?
Probably not. Unless there's one more postponement, we'll be fine for that.
Right, okay. Right, well, yeah, but it's still Saturday, Tuesday or Saturday, Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah.
All the way now, from next Saturday all the way to the end of the season. So all these opposition fans bleating away on social media about us gaining an advantage from it. I don't know what they're on about. I don't see. Yeah, we've got an advantage because we get a week's rest this week. Well, some of the players do. Obviously, the ones that are not suffering from COVID. Yeah. But the remainder are not training, or they are training, but they're only training at home. We're not getting any football training, if you like, in there. I failed to see what advantage is for us, to be honest, but well, whatever.
The advantage for me, I agree with it. In this, it is we do gain an advantage to an extent. We get a disadvantage because the game against Coventry next Saturday, we cannot have a full preparation for that game. It's impossible. Yeah. Let's assume that everybody's back fit and we can pick from a full squad, or who is actually available, not injured. We still have a disadvantage because we'll have probably a day or so's training. But to play those games at the end of the season, so the last 3 games of the season, bear in mind Luton hasn't been confirmed yet. The last 3 games of the season were Blackburn, who will at the time will have nothing to play for, Luton, who will then have nothing to play for, and Cardiff, who will probably, although they might be chasing playoffs, a lot have nothing to play for. And even Brentford, a couple of weeks before end of season, they might have fallen out of automatic promotion places and have nothing to play for because they're guaranteed the playoffs. So we do gain an advantage from that point of view. We've got a few games I accept it's quite a short space of time, but it's better to know what we've got to do than not knowing what other teams have got to do, if that sort of makes sense. So from that point of view, it is a bit of an advantage, but we also have a disadvantage as well. Ben, what do you think? You're massively on sports psychology and stuff, so what do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm big on sports psychology. I think, sorry, obviously we had these 2 weeks off, is it? You have to self-isolate 14 days, is it? Or is it 10? guidelines?
Well, this is where another part that confuses me. We need to check up on this. So, if they changed the rules recently on sporting people who come in from another country to play sport. So, if you come in from a red zone country and go into the country and then come back to England, but so you've got to self-isolate for 10 days, you can still train, you can still play games. You've just got to self-isolate when you're not playing games and training. So, does that still apply in this circumstances?
I don't see why not.
I don't see why not, exactly.
The thing is, right, I'm going to relate it to my experience because it's the closest thing that I have because I'm a professional footballer. Do you know what I mean? I've been able to go to a gym for since 4th of January, or 3rd of January, whenever it got shut.
About that, yeah.
And I ain't trained with I play American football. I ain't trained with my team since November. I'm still the fittest I've ever been in my life. The training shouldn't, and I'm the most match sharp I've ever been in my life. So I don't think that should affect it. They've just got to figure out ways. Obviously, it's not easy. We've just got to figure out ways, stay active, go on runs, whatever you need to do, whatever the case may be. But I don't think that should affect it. But I mean, the mental side, obviously, it's professional sports. I don't play professional sports, so that chemistry and bond has to be there. But I mean, there's not much you can do really. Zoom calls and stuff like that. But I mean, that's all they can do really, and just stay fit and not be sat on settee all day.
Yeah, right. So hoping it stays at a relatively low number. 4 or 5 is not the end of the world. It's the end of the world because of how small a squad we got because of injuries. Had we had a full 25-man squad, there's a reasonable chance the game wouldn't have been called off because the EFL may have thought because we had a reasonable number of players, they may have still forced us to play. We would have had no bench, or we might have had a 2-man bench with 2 keepers on.
Yeah.
So what's the difference now between now and Barnsley game?
Well, that's the question. That is a little bit confusing. Something we did back then displeased the EFL. I don't know what that was, but something at the time that displeased the EFL. I mean, we've already cancelled Tuesday's game, where if you remember when it happened at Christmas, the game against Derby got postponed, and it were only a day or 2 before the Middlesbrough game that got postponed, weren't it? It wasn't straight away. It was quite close.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think this has come from EFL testing, whereas the last one I don't think came from EFL testing, from what I can gather. At Christmas, one of the players showed symptoms, went for a test, and got confirmed. At the minute, the EFL does so many tests, don't they? Every week or so they do, or it might even be twice a week that the players get tested. And as part of those routine testing, these cases have come up through that.
Right. This should surely be able to test more. I'm not saying they should. I don't know. I think they should actually, because just for the spread and stuff like that. I go to college, right? I get tested twice a week.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I'm meant to get tested twice a week. I don't go to the second one, right? So why can't professional footballers get tested 3 or 4 times a week? I'm a college student. Why does it matter? I'm not playing. You know what I mean? I go in college 1 day a week and I stand 10 million miles away from everyone and wear 5 layers on my face. So what's, you know what I mean? I don't get that. Yeah. I don't know. It's weird that.
It's interesting how it's twice a week. So if we found out on Friday, that means there must have been a test on Thursday. When was the original test?
No, well,
you assume that's Monday or Tuesday.
It's a half an hour one, isn't it? You get it back in half an hour now.
Possibly, yeah. They might have done that, yeah.
When I get tested, it's half an hour. Or 20 minutes, whatever. So it's
a bit of a coincidence that Woody came in. One, he talked about Woody coming in to do rehab work on, I think, Monday. And then a day or 2 later, Woody has to go home, has to have himself isolated. And a day or 2 later, it turns out we've got loads of cases of COVID.
I hope you're not blaming Woody.
Well.
Hey, steady.
It may have come from that. We all know how these things spread. It could very well have come from that. I don't think there's anything untoward. I'd be surprised, you know. But if you ask Birmingham manager, not the fans, Birmingham manager, they think otherwise. I think there's pros and cons to it. I think Coventry game next week is going to be very difficult, and that's a shame because that's a huge game for both clubs, an absolutely massive game. If we win that, then Coventry are right back in it, and we're almost certainly out of relegation zone. Bearing in mind what happens to Birmingham, but if Coventry win, that will. If we lose to Coventry, I don't think it's the end of the world for us, but it almost put them clear up to 39 points, and we're on. I think 40 plus points actually. But then later on in the season, I do think we benefit because in theory, we'll have all these injuries back. We'll have Chio's back after international break. Lindsay's meant to be back after the international break. I think Matic is in theory back after international break. Who else is there? Woody will definitely be back because he was due back anyway. I don't know how long Carl Robertson might even be back after international break. That's 4 or 5. All of them are first team players. They're not.
And it's not even like it's all one position. It's spread about, isn't it?
It's all over the pitch, yeah.
Yeah, it's not. That's not a third choice keeper that's coming back. These are first team players that we're missing out on. So that's another point where it will benefit us. But at the same time, we said at Christmas this will benefit us because we'll have all these injuries back by January, and then that all went backwards, didn't it?
Absolutely.
The thing is, they've just got to keep it right, haven't they? Because when you get injured, you sit out. Everything else gets small when you don't use. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you sit hard, you're not using any muscles, everything's just going to get smaller, except for the muscle that you're healing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's going to be massive imbalance.
Well, having training ground closed down because this might not help some of those rehabs because they can't do proper rehab unless they can go to a centre or, I don't know where they can go at the minute. I don't know what's open for players, to be honest. We'll talk about, Mick already mentioned about Birmingham. Coventry fans and Derby fans a little bit of sort of piping up saying there's some sort of conspiracy Rotherham need to be investigated. And you sort of laugh it off a little bit and it's a bit of a nothing. But then over the weekend, when an actual manager of a football club in the Football League comes out with the claims, it then becomes, it's still a joke, but at the same time, why the hell is he coming out? Aitor Karanka has come out and basically said the EFL need to investigate Rotherham United. Bearing in mind that is standard procedure for an investigation to take place anyway, because he thinks that we're getting advantage by postponing our games. I don't know if he thinks that we're postponing games on purpose, but Mick, it's just we know why he's doing it, don't we? But at the same time, it's quite irresponsible of him to come out and suggest that.
He's got to deflect the attention from himself one way or another, hasn't he? And everybody in the main, everybody, and in particular Birmingham City fans, can see exactly that that's what it is. I've been really surprised and quite heartened, really, by the reaction of some supporters from Brentford, from Birmingham, over this sort of story. But yeah, he's just trying to deflect attention from his own incompetence, isn't it? It is. It's as simple as that, really. He clearly can't motivate his team, or his team's not good enough. Whatever it is, I don't know. I've no insight into Birmingham City at all. Look, reading between the lines, it would appear that he's just not managing the team properly, rather than the team not being good enough. He's got to.
What's that got anything to do with it, though? Why has that got anything to do with it?
Well, he's hoping, isn't he, that it might gain a bit of traction, and the EFL, being the EFL, might do something about it, and they might say, "Oh, you can have some points, doctor," or whatever. He's just trying to get the snowball rolling, isn't he? That's all he's doing. So
I don't get what that has to do with him not managing his team, mate.
He's deflecting attention because he's constantly under pressure. He's constantly under pressure from the press in Birmingham about his performance and the team's performance and the club's performance. So if he can deflect the attention somewhere else by saying, "Well, we would have stayed up if Rotherham hadn't have had all these games in hand," you know what I mean? Then we just stayed up. He's just trying to. I'll
give you an example of how badly they're doing, Ben. I know this is not always. They lost 1-0 to Barnsley this weekend. We'll look at expected goals quite a lot. It's interesting to see how a team performs. Birmingham's expected goals this weekend was 0.13.
Is that a record or something?
I don't know if it's a record. I hope it is. Yeah, it's just Paul Davis has put an article about it, which is a very good. One line from it, which is a particular favourite of mine, is it's something the AFL need to check because I don't think it's normal. You're right, it's not normal. It's a global pandemic. There's a virus going around which people are getting, which is not normal at all. So yes, but I don't think the EFL have any power over a virus spreading. So I don't really know.
We should do. We have.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I can't understand why they're obviously not doing the job properly again at the AFL if they can't control it. I mean, we managed to control weather and a virus and Christmas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It weren't as though all else going after Christmas and New Year we'd got to deal with and all. But now we still manage that. So, little Tin Pot Rotherham, what can you do? What can you do? It's pathetic, man. Honestly,
it is pathetic.
Needs to grow
I was
up
surprised.
And do his job.
I was surprised the professional managers said that. Most managers, even when it happened to Rooney and any other team it happened to, they never said anything. There was no comeback because it's COVID. It's a serious situation. There's 4 people that have got a potentially very serious disease, more than that. Sorry. So I don't think coming out with, what about 3 points? I don't think that's helpful to the situation in any way, shape, or form. If anything, it's pathetic. There's much more important things than 3 points. There's much more important things than staying in this division, and that's making sure that everybody's all right. And we haven't said this, and we should have said it. And I suppose it goes without saying. I hope that everybody's actually all right. I hope it's like last time where it seemed to be pretty mild for everybody and there were no long-term effects from it. 100%. Fingers crossed on that one. Anything else you want to talk about, the postponements or anything?
Nah, that's pretty straightforward, isn't it? It's just the worry about the fixture congestion as we go forward from next Saturday. So it is what it is. We'll just have to deal with it, won't we?
Yeah, I suppose the thing is now we're sort of used to it. And all the games have been rearranged for Tuesday nights. And the problem for us has always been playing Wednesday, Saturday. And we're not going to be playing Wednesday, Saturday. It will always be Saturday, Tuesday, which feels like a much better workaround, if that sort of makes sense. It has seemed to benefit us. When we play Saturday, Tuesday, we've always looked better for it. Whenever we play Wednesday, Saturday, we always look tired and we always look, that little bit of loss in performance, in my opinion.
Well, we'll see. We shall see. There's still a long way to go, isn't there?
Yeah, of course there is. We're going to mention again the Wednesday game because I really enjoyed the game. Ben, you sort of dipped out of it on the conversation. On
is this the? No, it's not. Is it? Never mind.
Go on.
No, I was going to say this is the last podcast since, but that can't be right because we did one Wednesday. Thursday.
We did do a Wednesday, yes, mate. Okay, fair enough. How many times have you watched any of those videos, Mick?
No, I've not seen any.
Oh, no.
I may have watched them a couple of times, just to cheer me up and get me through. It's been, it's still there at forefront of your mind, isn't it? Because of the circumstances of the victory, and obviously to see the same player get sent off yesterday on Saturday.
That was sweet, wasn't it?
Absolute. I don't know, but it is karma. That is absolute karma. And he managed. I mean, he even did his impression of Smithy as he walked off, didn't he? And made sure his shirt looked ripped.
He did, yeah.
He obviously looks up to Smithy now and sees him as a bit of a hero, and he's hoping that perhaps he'll get his red card rescinded. I didn't even see what he did, to be honest.
No, I didn't see it, to be honest. No.
But it were a definite red. I'm sure I haven't been in touch with him, but I understand that Leandri is absolutely gutted about it, and he can't believe that he got sent off. He's not come back to me for some reason. I don't know why.
No, that's a surprise, isn't it? We called him Matt on his birthday. Yeah. So happy birthday to Ben. Ben's very excited because he got a like off Matt Olson.
I tweeted it out and he liked my tweet. So I was very happy.
I know. A couple of stats from the game on Wednesday. Fraser Depot's now moved on to 20 league goals for Rotherham. what season a bit. And Michael Smith now moves on to 99 career goals in all competitions. So he's one away from 100, which is pretty good. To get 100, there's not many people get 100 league goals outside the Premier League. Yeah. Getting through the Premier League for a while, we'll tend to get those. So that's fun.
Yeah.
One thing I'm kind of glad I didn't watch it. I'm kind of glad I weren't on it because I would have been very annoyed when he shot.
I know you would.
Myself like an idiot, so I'm kind of glad I wasn't on it.
We've had complaints over the weekend about our negativity towards Freddie and Angus.
Oh God!
So yeah, Ben, if you don't pray down at his feet, I don't know what you're doing, mate.
Well,
I have seen that, and can I just say that if at any stage, and I have tried to listen back, if at any stage I have ever called anybody a moron, I do apologise. It's not a word that I use. I don't think I've ever used the word moron. Imbecile, I've used that a lot, and I don't apologise for that. And the other thing I want to apologise for is not knowing the history of Paul Cook's managerial career as well. There is a reason why. You've just took the words.
That's not me trying to be funny. I'm genuinely.
No, there is a reason why I don't know anything about Paul Cook's managerial career, and that's because he's got nothing to do with Rotherham. And as things stand at the moment, he won't have anything to do with Rotherham. And that's really all I'm interested in, and that's really all we're discussing on here. So, Paul Cook, don't care. Not interested.
If it helps, I know about Paul Cook. And I do another podcast called the Northern Monkeys Football Show. So if you are interested in stuff that's not Rotherham United related, give that a listen. On here, it will.
Is that specifically about Paul Cook?
It will get mentioned this week. He's talking about Ipswich, hasn't he? Which is quite a really good appointment for League One, to be fair. Having said that, we are now going to talk about some non-Rotherham United stuff because it is still Championship related. And we talk about Championship refereeing.
Hey, come on!
We've talked, and we'll all talk about this because we've got a little bit of time to kill because nothing's happened. But it's become a really big issue for me, the standard of refereeing in the Championship. I remember when it became a bit of headline news earlier on in the season, probably October, November time. We hadn't really seen any major incidents at that time. There were maybe one or two, but there were nothing major. And as we mentioned in the last show, the IFC Twitter account put out a fantastic thread about incidents this year, not this season, this year, about incidents that have gone against us. The RU red card that wasn't, obviously the Smith red card. There's 4 or 5, 6 on there. And it's came to the forefront again in the past week or so.
It's more than that. There's 13, 14 on it.
Is there more? Is there? Anyway.
Yeah, there's loads. There's honestly loads.
It's come to the forefront again, particularly in relation to Swansea this week. They had an incident last Wednesday. I think the same night we beat Wednesday, they played Stoke and were given a last-minute penalty to win the game against Stoke, which was incredibly soft. It was a ridiculous decision. And the same thing for Swansea again at the weekend against Neil Warnock. And because it's Neil Warnock, people sit up and listen. If Paul Warne says something, or I don't know, even Darren Moore at Wednesday or something like that says something, people just go, it's him. Because it's Neil Warnock and he's been around the block a bit, that's why it's sort of blown up a bit over the weekend. Norwich Middlesbrough had a goal disallowed because, the Middlesbrough player tackled for the ball, won the ball, and passed it to his own player, and then the player, whoever scored it, I think it was Balassi, it would have rated it.
There's one more incident as well, but yeah, there's one more incident as well.
You think about the penalty incident as well?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. To that in a minute.
Yeah. Well, the first one is where one of the players won the ball, effectively passed it to his own player, and then the other player scored the goal. The referee has given a foul against the player who passed the ball because he claimed to have fouled him. If you haven't seen it, go and look at it because it's absolutely bizarre. It's either a penalty to Middlesbrough because it was a foul on the passer, or it's a goal because the ball hit the back of the net. And then there was also the penalty incident against, I think it was 97th minute. Swansea won the penalty.
95th. It was like mid 95th, and it was only 6 minutes added.
Yeah, and that's won Stoke. That's won Swansea the games. 2 games in a row. they've had, well, in this game, they've had 2 incidents. Mick, you're our resident referee. What's the word? Scrutinizer.
Critic.
Scrutinizer. Critic. All right.
Whatever,
That's better. Go
on. What can you say? What can you say? I mean, the first one is just embarrassing, really. I don't. If you look at the referee's position and you can see the referee on the footage, the sort of full speed.
Gavin Ward, weren't it?
Yeah, Gavin Ward. Yeah, He looks at the ball. He looks at the challenge. He sees the challenge. He doesn't blow, and the ball travels probably 10, 12 yards from the tackle to the player who takes the shot on goal. He still doesn't blow. That ball travels all the way across that distance, and he's not blowing. He doesn't blow until the ball leaves the Middlesbrough player's foot. Yeah. That's when he blows. So it's utterly bizarre. He's got a very, very clear view of what's happened. And I'll tell you exactly what he will claim to have seen. And I guess I said claim to have seen. He will say that he thinks that he's taken the Swansea player's foot, because the Swansea player, as Swansea players do, as we all know, because not only us but other clubs have been subject to this season, they go down like an absolute sack when anybody comes anywhere near them, because they're one of the sides, much like Buendia, that half-wit. They cheat. Yeah. They cheat, and that was cheating. And he's managed to either one con the referee. We have to say that he's conned the referee.
I don't think he has, though. I don't think the player tried to win the ball. He tackled him. I don't think the players tried to win the foul.
No, I think
the referees just thought he'd seen something that wasn't there.
Come on. We're not doing this, are we? Come on. He's absolutely... Bolasie slid and got the ball. Their players kicked Bolasie and gone down on his foot. It's ridiculous. I'm watching... We're recording on Sunday. I watched Manchester Derby, right? Wow. I'm not even going to talk about the crapness of the game, right? But Martial, right? No, come on, man. Another Fernandes penalty, but that's... Yeah.
We're nailed on this one, though.
Irrelevant, but yeah, they were playing it about, right? They were playing it about, whatever, right? And I saw it a couple of times, like within the space of a minute. Gets played into Martial. They're playing about whatever, nice football into Martial. Got nowhere to go. Goes down, free kick. That happened 3 times, and I looked at it, and it's not even a sport. Like, I don't want to watch. I turned it off. And I hope this don't come to the Championship football, because I just won't watch it.
Though. It's there already.
No, but the thing is, I just won't watch it, and a lot of people won't. I just genuinely won't watch it, because it genuinely fills me with anger. Like, I just don't.
The thing is, I'll give you an example. So what you'd expect is Gavin Ward's given a very soft penalty, and then that one, which is not a foul, but even if you gave the penalty would have been quite soft. This is the same man that didn't send Ched Evans off for standing on Victor Johansson's face, and didn't give the foul for jumping into Johansson, although that was a bit more subjective. I also think it was a foul. So there's all you want from referees, and we say this week in, week out, is consistency. And I accept if you have one ref one week and another ref another week, you're not going to get the same consistency, but it should be within a range. This is the same man. This is not a different referee. This is the same man who is all right for somebody to stand on somebody's face, but then gives these decisions. It's baffling that we can only look at it from our point of view. We don't watch Gavin Ward week in, week out. We can only talk about the major incidents we see and what happens in our games.
God help me if someone does watch him week in, week out.
I know.
But you look at that one yesterday, and then you look at the penalty in inverted commas. I'm not going to argue one way or the other whether it was or wasn't a penalty. I'm not, because to be honest with you, I can't take my eyes off the referee, so I've not seen whether it's actually a penalty. and my issue with this is, and this is where it all falls down from my point of view in terms of referees. Okay, that challenge is made. The ball is either won or not won, whichever. It goes scooting off and out of play. Yeah. The referee gives a corner.
It does, yeah.
It gives a corner. So he can't possibly have thought it was a foul because he's given a corner. So why has he changed his mind?
He'll have been getting help in his ear, which is fine.
Okay, so if assuming that he's getting help in his ear, he's getting help from his linesman, who is looking along the line at that, so therefore cannot possibly tell whether or not it's a foul because he's looking sideways on. So he can't tell. The referee has a perfect view of it. He's directly behind it, and he gives a corner. Why does he change his mind? He changes his mind, in my view, because the Swansea players get in his ear. That's why he changes his mind. And that is just unforgivable. It's absolutely unforgivable. We've seen Swansea do that. We've seen Swansea do that both times that we've played them this season.
Yeah, we have.
And it's just spineless.
But it comes back to the question of this is unfortunately what successful teams do. I measure that by getting promoted or not. This is what you tend to see. Norwich, when we played Norwich the second time this season, they weren't so bad. Other than Buendia, they weren't so bad at it. Whereas in previous seasons, I remember last time we were in the Championship, Norwich were horrendous at throwing themselves around.
Yeah. They were the worst that time last season.
They do seem to have toned it down a little bit, but again, that's a very small sample of that. Swansea in both games were very bad at it. Andre Ayew kicks Wiles in knee, studs down his knee, and then spends the rest of the game throwing himself around. All right, he had a good game, but he still threw himself around. I know what the question is going to be, but this is a question discussed among Rotherham fans quite a lot. Is would you like to see us play the dark arts a bit more?
No, it's not football. I've said this, it's not football. It's not even a sport at that point because it's just not. Like the refereeing decisions, whatever. Sometimes you can't help it. Make a mistake, they're human, whatever. They probably shouldn't have made it, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's crowding, the diving, the players' mentality towards it is. I'm not going to say anything because it makes me want to put a hole in my wall, and it genuinely does. It's so frustrating because, do you know if like Roy Keane, Vinnie Jones, like there's none of that, is it? Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying football old-fashioned or whatever, but sometimes you just want to go in and just two-foot them. Do you know what I mean? Like if they're playing down at Stubbing or Milmore or whatever, like it's not going to happen, is it? It's just not going to happen. And this is the problem with I'm not saying. I don't want to offend anybody, but people from like South America and North America and whatever, other Eastern European, this is the game they play. This is how they play the game, right? And they're bringing it over here. And I'm not saying get them out, but it's not even a sport. It's not even a sport. It's genuinely not even a sport.
It's not the player's fault.
Oh, come on.
It's not the player's fault. It's the referee's fault. It is the referee's fault. And the referees have brought this on themselves. I mean, at what point, I don't know whether either of you two saw the memo that came out that said that buying a free kick is part of the game. I'm not sure. I missed that one. I missed that rule change or that, whatever it was.
For as long as I watch football, that's always been the case.
Well, it hasn't, in my view. It is only there because the referees will give a foul if you walk past somebody and they throw themselves on the floor. The referees have brought this on themselves by being weak. You know, if somebody goes down and they appeal, they'll get it. 9 times out of 10 now, that used to be 1 out of 100 that it had happened. But the referees now, as soon as any contact, and we hear it on telly, there were contact. Well, yeah, it's a contact sport. Yeah, he's every right to be having contact. No,
this is what I mean. In countries like Spain, Argentina, they teach it non-contact. I played football in Spain. They teach it non-contact, and this is why.
That's not why they teach non-contact because it's easier to teach. It's easier to teach techniques and the technical ability of people.
The result of that is going down, and this is the problem. Then they come over here, start doing it, realise it works, and other players. No, but it does. We don't it.
You can say this, but English players do this.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's whatever, right? But it's just annoying, man, because it makes me not want to watch football. It makes me fall out of love with the game, and I'm not even gonna watch it when I'm older. I'm only gonna watch Rotherham games Anyone my age will probably tell you that as well. I don't even know what's happening in Premier League this year. I don't care. It's crap.
Man City are amazing. That's what's happening.
What a surprise. When, you know what I mean? I genuinely I'm not bothered about it. And I don't want it to happen to Rotherham, but if it does,
the more successful you get, the more chance it's going to happen. But
that's what I mean, man.
Anyway, let's bring it back to Rotherham.
I certainly don't want to see my team doing that. I genuinely don't. I think it's horrible, and I feel for Neil Warnock. He's going to get a fine for his outburst, quite clearly.
Yeah.
And like I tweeted yesterday, Gavin Ward will be happily refereeing another championship game midweek.
Of course he will.
You can absolutely guarantee it because.
Texas Rangers, New York Yankees.
What's that?
I hate that. It's
Mick's watch.
Yeah.
It's Surrey. Apparently, Gary Ward used to play for Texas Rangers, apparently.
Did he?
It's me shouting my mouth off, and Surrey's been telling me all about Gary Ward. I said Gavin Ward. Gavin Ward's a footballer.
Wow.
He's a former professional footballer. He's a goalkeeping coach at Queen's Park Rangers, apparently.
Okay. As you can, it was Mick's birthday. We went to play Brentford on Mick's birthday, and he got an Apple Watch for his birthday, and he's clearly no idea how it works.
I've taken it off now.
That's one positive, though, Mick. You didn't have to watch us get spanked by Brentford on your birthday. Yeah. That's a positive, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, I got my birthday present on Wednesday.
One thing, another birthday present is you're born the day before Mattle Sunday.
As it turns out, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that means nothing, really. That's
better than the birthday itself.
It's like having £9.50 and wanting to buy a magazine for a tenner. It's no good, is it?
Right, it's better than my birthday itself, isn't it? I wish I had a day before or a day after.
Well, there you go. I feel honoured.
Yeah. On Saturday's results, they went pretty well for us, didn't they, Mick? I mean, other than Coventry beating Derby. Derby can't do all right, can they?
No.
Coventry, but that dragged Derby back in. Birmingham lost to Barnsley. Barnsley won 7 in a row now. And are looking, I wouldn't say a sure thing for the playoffs, but it's got to the point where if they don't make the playoffs, I'd be a little bit surprised with the form they're on at the minute. They're superb, unfortunately. And I said it in the nicest way possible. You know, I were hoping they'd get relegated this season and take one of the spots up for us.
Well, yeah, they're doing really well. I'm really pleased for them, if I'm honest. It's really good to see Barnsley up there and doing well. I mean, the results did go for us, like you said, and that win for Coventry brings Derby back into it, which is sweet. You know, it's sweet in terms of after the grief that we've had from them. It's nice to just drag them back in and make them worry a little bit. They've got far too much to go down, I expect. But that says more about us than it does about them, I think, to be honest. Yeah,
it shows. I think the win was on Wednesday, Ben. We're now sitting on 32 points. We have got 3 games in hand to Birmingham, Coventry, Huddersfield and Forest. And we have 2 games in hand to Derby. The point situation is that Birmingham are 3 points ahead of us. And then we have Coventry, Derby and Huddersfield are all 6 points ahead of us. And then Forest, who are 8 points ahead of us. Again, we've got basically 3 games in hand to everybody except them. And Sheffield Wednesday lost as well, which was hilarious.
We're 6 points ahead of Wednesday.
No,
2
4.
games in hand. 4. I didn't do my GCSEs. I didn't have to. But yeah, 4 points. Yeah, it's 4 points. I thought you got it wrong. We've got look at the goal difference. We've got obviously
goal difference is brilliant, isn't it?
I'm the only one looking at the table. We've got apart from Upton Forest, we've got the best goal difference. Bottom 6 teams, 8 teams. So 8 teams, 6 teams.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Wow. Oh wow. Maybe I should study maths again.
Maybe.
Yeah, you need to do that. Yeah.
Look at that goal difference is important.
I know.
Games in hand and goal difference is all that matters.
It's fascinating. That goal difference is absolutely fascinating for me.
Points come and go. Points come and go. Like you can get a scrappy win, but if your goal difference is relatively going to stay the same, because it's just an outlook on your team performance. I think it builds pressure on the teams around us. The games in hand. Birmingham go and lose. I don't know if playing shoes with you Wednesday. Birmingham go and lose, that's 4 games in hand, isn't it? Or they're not playing.
They're not playing Tuesday. No.
I was going to say,
They're playing midweek.
Tuesday's catch up for go on.
Oh yeah.
when
FA Cup.
Yeah.
The thing is, next Saturday might be postponed, and if it does, it's 4 games in hand on a lot of teams, and that is so beneficial, because if we're still 3 points behind with 4 games in hand, come on, man, what is it? Christmas?
Well, you compare it to last time in the Championship, and we're now at the stage of the season where it's now a valid comparison because we're so far along in the season. We're 4 points better off than we were last time. And we are, let me check, 12 goals better off in terms of goal difference.
Where were we in league?
We were in exactly the same position, but this time, if we had the same amount of points now as we did last time in the Championship, we would have been 5th bottom.
Yeah.
We've conceded 8 goals less, but we've scored 4 more.
That's good. The conceding is good. I think we'll stay up, man. Well, I don't think there's nothing to think about it. I know we'll stay up.
Well, I think the goals. I know it's only 4 goals, but goals is what kept us down last time. I know we conceded a lot of goals, but we didn't score anywhere near enough at any time in the season. We just didn't score enough, other than scoring 3 against Swansea, which we still lost anyway.
Yeah.
Overall, we're better off, but we've got to keep that going. Smith has now matched his tally from that season. He's now on 8 goals like he was last time. And we've still got, 14 games left to go. What I will also say is you compare the timings. Like this time in the season, we played 32 games by the 13th of February. We're now on the 7th of March, and we will end up being on the 12th of March. We'll still play 32 games. So we've played the same amount of games a month later than normal. So that gives you an idea of how many games we've got left.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult, Mick, not to be positive from our point of view.
Yeah, it is. It is. To be fair, I think most of us have been positive right the way through. Even in the sort of the darker times when there's been some bad performances, Coventry away and some of the others as well. But I think we've been. Personally, I think we've been quite positive all the way through. We've had, like I said, we've criticised a few people a few times, but overall over the season, I think performance-wise, we've done enough and shown that we've got enough to get out of the situation we're in. And to be honest with you, we're probably only in the situation we're in at the moment because of the fact that we've had so many cancellations. And those games
exactly.
Played, I don't think we would be where we are. I don't think we would be 3rd bottom. So it is what it is, isn't it? We will get out of it. I'm sure. I'm absolutely positive. So,
and also we're only 8 points off matching last time the total of points last time in the Championship. So in the next 14 games, we've only got 8 more points to match it, which you would assume that would be done quite easily. That's only 2 and a bit wins.
Yeah.
I'm feeling very positive about it. I am in the camp where I think this break benefits, as long as there's no long-term effects of COVID, people that get it. I think it's positive. It helps towards the end of the season. I remember the Reading game when we stayed up and we beat Reading on the Tuesday night. It was the last Tuesday before the last game of the season. We knew if we won that game, we were safe. That for me, that was an advantage for us, and that's why I think there's a bit of an advantage. I'm not saying because of the fixture congestion, it's less of an advantage than that time, but I still think there is an advantage to it.
It's only a psychological advantage, isn't it?
Rather
than actual. But yeah, I get it. I do get it. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, exactly. There's 3 more games between now and the international break. Coventry at home, Watford at home on the Tuesday, and then Bristol City away on the following Saturday 20th. Then it's the international break. A lot of people mentioned could the Luton game be moved to the international break. Apparently Luton have got some internationals, so we couldn't play Luton during the international break, which is a shame, really. But that's life. Hopefully there's no more postponements, because then we will be in serious trouble in terms of fixture congestion.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
but we will see. One last stat to finish on, which we've all heard, but I don't think I'll ever get tired of hearing it. This is the first season that we've done the double over Sheffield Wednesday. If Paul Warne's done nothing else, and he has done plenty else, he has brought us a double in what is our biggest derby. I know Wednesday got bigger derbies, but it's our biggest derby.
Very double as well. 3-0 and a 2-1 last minute. I'm not complaining.
Which one would you prefer more, Ben? The 3-0 or the 2-1?
2-1. If I were watching the game, 2-1.
Yeah.
But
with hindsight,
I'm glad I wasn't, because I would have been missing my great mug. But yeah. I've had 2-1. 2-1.
Hello, mate.
Yeah, I just dropped some off my desk.
Okay. We've been very professional tonight. Mick's Ben, which is what's going off. Ben's dropping stuff on his toes. It's been very professional. I'm going to stop myself.
God.
Mick, the 3-0 or the 2-1, which one's?
It's got to be the game at Swillsborough, isn't it? It's got to be. You know, it's just because of the circumstances of it, down to 10 men. You know, really feeling really hard done by as well from some most shocking officiating. You know, and to do it in 7th minute of 6 minutes injury time. You know, it just makes everything so sweet. For it to be Freddie that does it as well after the way that we've spoken about him and everything else, you know, it puts a poke right fairly and squarely in my eye in terms of what I've said about him. You know, it's just everything about it was great. I mean, don't get me wrong, the 3-0 at home was lovely to see as well.
Yeah,
but for me, that one tops it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing more. I mean, you two more than me. I'm not trying to get away, but you two more than me have claimed Fred. I've had a little, not pop, is not the right word, but criticised Freddie. Yeah. And I've criticised more people. There's nothing we love more than being wrong when criticising players, our players. That's the best thing that we could wish for. If we say he's crap and it turns out to be amazing, brilliant. I'm glad to be wrong. You know what I mean?
100%. Absolutely, 100%. And it's great, and I love it, and I want it. Listen, if I'm critical of a footballer who plays for Rotherham United and I get proved wrong, please prove me wrong.
Yeah,
that's the only reason I'm critical, is because I want you to prove me wrong. I want you to be, you know, I just want them to be the best that they possibly can, and I just want them to put the effort in and come up with results like that, mate. Happy days.
Absolutely.
Happy days.
Cool. Thank you very much, then. Thank you. I somehow managed to get 40 minutes out of this. I'm amazed.
I think there's a bit of waffle in there, weren't there, to be fair?
Ain't there always? So thank you all for listening and watching on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe wherever you're watching and listening. Whether it is on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, please subscribe on there. Feel free to get in touch with us on Twitter, RUFC_pod, Facebook, Running Out Podcast. And the email is rufcpod@gmail.com. Anything you want to go through, and things like that. Instagram, rufc_pod. I think we are as there as well. We've got a few things in the works for the next few weeks for us to do, but then we'll be available for you later on, maybe in the closed season, talking to former players and things like that. We're trying to get somebody in for the international break, but it's difficult to get the ones we want in the time frame that we need to do them in. Yeah. But we'll work on that and hopefully get somebody for you to listen to between now and the international break. You're right there, Ben. You always have a little chuckle to yourself there.
I was smiling about it because I know who it is.
Yes. Well, yeah, we've got an agreement from somebody, but we appreciate. We're not going to say because I don't know when it's going to be out. It might be end of the season because of their availability. But we have got an agreement from one player, former player, famous player, popular player.
Got a little.
Come on, stop it.
No, there's no better than a good tease.
We've got a little rebranding as well at the end of the season, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got a couple of things coming up. We're going to do a rebranding in the season. We're going to have a rename, so we're not stealing the club's name because we don't like that. Not from the club request. I think it's better. I think this is a decision we've made. And also we're going to look next season, not necessarily get people who are listening on the show, but certainly get some more involvement, whether that's just sending in a minute's review from one of you or something like that. We certainly want to get you more involved than you are at the minute. That's something we're sort of working on, planning on, and then when it gets to next season, when the rebrand comes in, it'll then become all hopefully much clearer, if that sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, we do appreciate your positive and negative comments. We're always happy to take the feedback, criticism, as well as all the positives.
Yeah.
We do appreciate everybody who listens. So yeah, thank you, Mick. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's no problem. All I would say, I just add to what you've just said there, we are just football fans. You know, we've got no inside knowledge of the club. We've got no inside knowledge of football. We are the same as everybody else. So, you know, there are some things that we don't know.
A lot of things we don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I don't know. You two know a lot more than I do, to be fair. I've struggled to remember what my own name is at times. I have to see it on screen here. So
I got
well, I can ask Siri as well. But yeah, we're just fans, aren't we? And yeah, so, and it is all opinions, and it's all about opinions. Sometimes they're wrong, sometimes they're right.
Absolutely. And Ben, you're the most opinionated out of a lot of us, so thank you very much.
I know it comes across as arrogant, but it's only arrogance if you go.
People, I mean, we're not going to use it, but people who are right can also be arrogant.
Depends who you ask.
I appreciate your opinionated opinions, Ben, the comical. So thank you, and we will see you all. We're back to Friday morning, which will be the preview of the Coventry game, and then we'll be back to normal until the international break, and then one thing or another will happen. So we'll see you all then. Cheers, guys. It's poor Con, it's not beat the first man's. We've got to get this cleared. Crooks is trying to get away with it. He will get away with it to an extent, but it's a waste.
It's not a waste of ball. That's a great pass. Come on then, Freddie.
Freddie's on one-on-one. Can Freddie turn his shoot? Can Freddie get a shot? Yes!
What a goal!
Freddie! Apologies to the neighbours.